Hello? Hello, are you here? Am I losing you? I hope not. Hey, this is Cavallo. I want to talk about something that is a big problem for a lot of women, and that is wondering if you're losing his interest over time. That's the worst feeling of all, to think that the person you're feeling for and loving for is not feeling it back for you. One of the most common questions I get from women is this question of, am I losing his interest? Why is it he's grown cold or distant? Why is it he's not as into me or the relationship as he used to be? And underneath that is a fear that you may have lost your connection with him. So why do guys lose their interest so quickly and usually early on in the relationship? I'm going to give you 5 ways to keep his interest, but first I want to give you the reasons why he's doing it. Reason number 1 for him losing interest in you is he lost the thrill. Men need the thrill of the chase. It's not something optional that you can leave out of a relationship. It's absolutely critical to getting a man to fall in love with you. When a guy is interested in you, it gives him a little bit of a rush, and he flips on that switch that says, hey, you better chase this girl. And the objective, of course, is to get you into bed, even if he knows he's not going to do it right away. There's nothing inherently wrong or disrespectful about this. It's just the way he approaches it. It's an ego boost for almost every single guy to know that he's got a woman's interest. So you got to watch out for the guys that are only there for the chase. Just be careful of them. Reason number 2 he loses interest in you is he's afraid of time travel. Time travel, what the heck? What I mean by that is that men feel like women are too quick to look at him as a long-term relationship. If you jump the gun and you start moving forward too fast in words and in actions, like assuming you're going to have this long-term relationship, he's going to get spooked. The best advice I can give you is that the more of your relationship that you can allow to be in the future, the more he will create this relationship in your future, and the faster he'll do it. In other words, don't try and make everything secure and all set and perfect right now. Let it come to fruition on its own. Take your time. Okay, so keep him attracted. Tip number 1 is first strike. Most guys are used to women waiting for something to happen in the relationship. We often hear women asking us to coordinate or set up a date. Now, the reason this happens is that if you want to know if he's really feeling it for you, you want him to take the initiative and for him to do that stuff. And if you take it out of his hands too often, well, he's going to get lazy. Now, the problem with this is that even the most love-struck guy gets tired of being the leader when it comes to making things happen in the relationship. If it feels like this is a constant expectation of him, that he's constantly got to be organizing these things and making dates happen, along with all the other things he's got to do in his life, he's probably going to get a little tired, and he may just chill and lean back a little bit. So instead of making him always be the man of action, be sure to organize or plan a few small things on occasion. Look at the ratio. You can do maybe I'd say 1 or 2 out of 5 things that you do with him. Yeah, you want him to initiate so you know he's still into it, but on the other hand, he'll want you to take a few steps too to show him your interest. Never lose interest. Tip number 2 is seduce him all the time. This tip picks up where the last one left off. You see, a guy needs to know that he's got a powerful, attractive force to a woman. And yes, we'd like to feel that all women can feel our manly, masculine force field, but we'll gladly settle for knowing that we at least make you feel that surge of desire. And this means you got to find ways to flirt with him and turn him on when you're not in bed or you're not in private. It's those times that we can't immediately do anything. We can't give you that triple X throwdown. Yeah, I'm channeling my inner Sir Mix-a-Lot here. It's those times that we can't do anything about it that actually drives us wild because there's this frustration. It's a good constructive frustration. So flirt sexually. Keep him desiring you. Tip number 3 is be independently dependent. Now this one sounds confusing, but it's really not. You see, men need a balance of behavior in the woman that he's going to fall in love with and eventually marry. He needs you to be first and foremost independent. Now, what does this mean exactly? Well, it means he needs to know that you can handle your own life, that you won't fold up into bed and bury yourself under the covers if things don't go your way, or that you'll become emotionally needy and dependent on him, even a bigger thing, or codependent as the old term goes. He needs to know that you could support yourself financially, and you can take care of yourself, and you can handle life without him. But he also needs to know that you do need him on a certain level, need him to do things around the house or fix certain things. Even if you can do it yourself, give him that feeling of being needed. Men need this today more than ever. Make him want you. Tip number 4 is always be positive. Now this one's incredibly important if you want a man to keep coming back to you time after time after time. You have to keep your outlook on things in a more affirmative frame. No one wants to have somebody bringing them down all the time. Now that being said, no one is positive all the time. Yes, you can have your moments of fear and doubt and uncertainty. Those are totally natural. But you got to keep them to a minimum around your man. Here's a couple of the ways that you can positively encourage and energize your man's life. Talk positively. Don't fall into the negative Nancy trap of being a naysayer. Plan positively. Assume that life has great things in store for you and that things will work out okay in the end. And act positively. Don't run around acting as if your relationship is going to repeat all of your negative patterns from the past. Assume that it's going to be okay. And finally, keep guys wanting you. Tip number 5 is have a fire burning inside. Men love it when women have their own passions and excitement. There was a book that came out a few years ago about how men really actually fall for bitches. And I don't think this is entirely true, but there is something a bitch has that men want, and that's sassy independence. You see, just like you want a man that doesn't need you, men want the same thing in a woman. And as I already mentioned, he doesn't want a clingy, desperate woman, but he also wants to see that you have your own passionate fire inside you. He doesn't want you to always be a pushover. He doesn't want you to always agree with him, but instead be able to speak your own thoughts and feelings without making him feel diminished in the process. In the end, he simply has to know that you would easily and happily move on from him if he doesn't hold his end of the relationship up. That's how he knows he's accountable, and that's the kind of boundary a man needs in a relationship. Now, these triggers are hardwired instincts in every man, which are directly connected to his feelings of love, admiration, and devotion to the woman he sees as the one. So if you want him to crave you like a soulmate, to want you like no other, like there's no tomorrow, I've got a great video for you to watch today, and that is go on over to datingadviceguru.com/irresistible. That's datingadviceguru.com/irresistible. It's simply a matter of giving him the signal that sets off the right triggers. Once you do this in a man's brain, he will fall for you, he will stay with you, and he will be loyal, and you won't lose his interest. If you get it right, there's no turning back for him. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/irresistible. And this is Carlos Cavallo. I hope I didn't bore you there. Did I lose your interest? I hope not. I'll be talking again soon. This is Carlos Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Live and love with passion.